Minecraft's PvP usually takes hundreds of hours to master, but I have just 10 hours to do it. The only problem is, I suck. I mean, I'm decent at 1.8, but I suck at every version after that, so I had no time to waste. The first thing I did was search up how to get good at PvP, and started watching some YouTube tutorials. Knowing I was on a time limit of 10 hours, I was focused. I was just trying to learn as much as possible. After I was done researching, I started practicing the mechanics in a single player world, and just abused a lot of wardens to really hone in on my skills. Was this necessary? Probably not. A couple of minutes of abuse later, I decided I was ready to start fighting other players, and I actually won my first duel, but I will admit, it was a little scuffed, but I still managed to win. As for the second duel, well, I lost. But this was a good thing, because it revealed what I need to work on. I need to work on my aim and sprint resetting, since sprint resetting is different on newer versions, so I wasn't used to the timing. But by this point, an hour had already passed, so I continued to practice as much as I could. I was learning everything. I was just trying to get as much experience as possible. I was improving at a quick rate, and I started winning a lot of fights. Boom! Now it's hour 3, and I still had around 8 hours left, so I did nothing but practice, and that's all I did for 50 minutes. I then decided to do axe duels, just to change it up. Axe duels requires a lot more patience and timing, since the attack speed of the axe is a lot slower than a sword, but it will deal more damage. This duel was a nice change of pace, but I ended up losing most of my fights, cause I'm not very good at axe duels. I then searched for a PvP texture pack. I ended up deciding on 2 texture packs, but I ended up just switching back to the original one, so that was just a waste of time. Then I went back to practicing, and I was improving quickly. I was getting better at comboing, and my aim started to improve. Now I had 6 hours remaining, so I decided to research some more to try and get as much information about 1.20 PvP as I possibly could. After I was done researching, I went back to practicing my skills, and that's all I did for another 50 minutes. Then I decided to switch it up and try Crystal PvP. I was very unfamiliar with the style of fighting, but it was actually really fun. Maybe in the future I'll try to master this, but I have no clue what I'm doing, so I lost. A little bit later, I wanted to review my gameplay to see what I was doing wrong. I saw that my aim was a little off, and I also was swinging my sword too early sometimes, so I needed to be a little more precise. I decided to change my duels to netherite armor, instead of the diamond armor I was using to practice, since netherite has knockback resistance, so it's a little different to fight against. So I practiced fighting in netherite for an hour and 30 minutes. I mean, I'm just cool like that, I guess. Then I noticed I needed to practice sprint resetting more. If I'm going to master modern PvP, this will be important to know. So I decided to beat up a piglin for 25 minutes straight without break, and my sprint resets never looked better, and my skills improved dramatically. But I'm so sorry, piglin. Please forgive my crimes. Then I decided to look for another texture pack. This time I got a very simple texture pack with a few minor edits, just to improve the gameplay slightly. Then it's back to practicing. I went back to fighting in diamond gear, since I wanted to try and get some combos. Then this nice player let me practice sprint resetting, which was very nice of him. So thank you, Lemon Tunic. What a great name. I appreciate you. After that comboing session, my sprint resets were so much better, and I was comboing people more than ever before. I then participated in a 10 versus 10 duel, and it was chaotic. There were just so many fights going on, and at the end of it all, my team and I managed to get the win. Then for the next 30 minutes, I was practicing sprint resetting and just trying to improve as much as possible. I was trying to not make any mistakes, and I was actually winning most of my fights, which by this point, I was feeling much more confident in combat now. I then participated in another 10 versus 10, which this time it lasted for 17 minutes. And remember, that is 17 minutes of constant fighting. So this was great practice. But of course, my team and I managed to win. Now, at this point, I only had 1 hour remaining. So I was going to go all out. I was going to put together everything I learned up until this point and try to win most of my duels. But I knew I improved a lot when this guy messaged me saying how good I was, which honestly gave me a lot of confidence because I was obviously doing something right. And it's not like this guy was bad at PvP or anything. We actually dueled. I managed to win the first time we dueled, and then we dueled again, but I lost the second duel. So I went back to dueling, and that's all that happened for the last hour. Just pure focus, dedication, and hard work. Oh wait, what? The timer has ended already? Oh wow. That was quick. Now the 10 hours are up, but how much did I really improve? Well, let's compare my skills from the first hour to the last hour. In the first hour, I was uncoordinated. I missed a lot of my attacks, and I just didn't feel confident in my abilities. But in the final hour, I felt a lot more confident because I knew when to attack, when to sprint reset, when to crit, and when to swing my sword. I overall was just a much better player in the last hour. And plus, I was winning the majority of my fights as well. Now, have I really mastered 1.20 PvP? Well, not entirely. There are still a lot of aspects of the game I need to master, such as Crystal PvP and Axe PvP. Maybe in another video, I'll master these combat methods, so make sure you subscribe so you won't miss it.